The video went viral on a Friday. By Monday, it had hit like 100,000 something views. By Wednesday, my channel was, I think, monetized. And by Thursday, I could start seeing how much I was earning.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I'm never going back to work again.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions MC and producer. And today, as usual, I have the legendary Rayceen Pendarvis.
Salutations and greetings. Oh.
Hey. And joining us is content creator and YouTube extraordinaire, DJ Richie Skye. Welcome.
What up? What up?
How are you today?
I'm good. Honestly, it's crazy. I think I had like an anxiety attack last night. So
really?
Insane, right?
Wow.
But I feel a lot better now.
Good,
Awesome.
good. We were looking forward to talking to you, and and having this sit down.
Oh yes.
And really enjoying and just celebrating people that we really love in the industry. And you just happen to be one of them. So I'm enjoying, we call it welcome to the boom boom in the Zoom room.
Yes, and we've been having these Zoom conversations, getting these interviews, just seeing what's up with the community, seeing what's going on. So let us know, how are you, doing during this whole pandemic and everything going on?
You know what's crazy is I feel like I've been busier than ever, which is interesting. Going into this, I had no idea what to expect, but, I report on news and entertainment. So luckily for us, the celebrities have just been doing the most.
Yeah.
And it's been good. I mean, it hasn't been, when I come at situations, I try to come at it from just from the perspective of somebody who's worked in reality TV, who can sort of give an update on or a take on situations from that perspective. It's never anything malicious. I'm not trying to ruin reputations or anything like that. It is the same as what I would do when I was doing news in the mornings. So, for me, that's how I kind of rock it. And luckily, people have still been creating news.
Definitely.
It never stops. In the age of COVID-19, it's always some drama to report.
Always. The girls don't let up. The girls do not let up, honey. They are doing a lot. And we're actually going to get into some of that so I can get your outlook on some of the things that are going on. But tell me, what was it? Why did you decide to kind of get into this? You started off more traditionally in the news and stuff, but why did you choose to, start doing this with your YouTube channel and everything?
So interestingly enough, before I parted ways with the show that I worked for, it was called Daily Flash. It is actually still ongoing. I had been investigating YouTube and I was kind of a little bit unhappy with what I was doing. A lot of what I did required reading the teleprompter and really just sort of being a little bit more on the conservative side. And I'm already a Black man with tattoos, a beard, and piercings, and I was not changing any of that.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, well, I was kind of feeling a little bit boxed in, like I couldn't really do the stuff that I wanted to do or talk about. And luckily, God just made it so that they decided to move the show to Orlando, and they had already hired 2 new hosts. So we were essentially without a job with a day's notice.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't look at that as, I look at it as a blessing at this point now, because what happened was, about a week later, I had a video that went viral on YouTube. And honestly, I never looked back after that. Once I saw once my channel was monetized, which happened in probably like a couple of days after that.
Wow.
The video went viral on a Friday. By Monday, it had hit like 100,000 something views. By Wednesday, my channel was, I think, monetized. And by Thursday, I could start seeing how much I was earning.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I'm never going back to work again.
That's the team.
I admire that. You know,
yes.
I'm on the team Rayceen is on our way in that direction.
Yes,
so, you know,
so
we're
you know,
learning. We are learning from so many people, and having this experience to utilize this platform in a whole nother way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a whole nother way. It's amazing. And creating these sit-down interviews have been so wonderful, reaching out to actors and artists and singers and poets and dancers, politicians, you know, even pimps and prostitutes, you know, so, you know, we reaching out to everybody.
Equal opportunity people here. That's what we do right here. That is what we do. So, and, you know, I watch your videos, I keep up with everything, and it is just so great to see what you're doing. And, you know, at the start of this year, we were already thinking about really raising our digital game anyways and coming into that, and then coronavirus came through and it was like, well, girl, this is just what we're gonna have to jump into fully and do that. So I will say, even like watching your videos, you're a bit of an inspiration to like others to see, you know, we can go there and do that, you know, if we want. So, you know, that's just so great to see. So tell me now, I want to get a little bit of your views, a little bit of, you know, what you think about what's going on. So we know, for example, the Atlanta reunion is coming up. Are you excited for it? And what do you expect?
You know, I'm really excited, to be quite honest with you. I wasn't excited initially about it because I felt like, you know, sometimes with, you know, doing things via lives and even Zoom or StreamYard, I mean, we all, if you've been doing it for a while, you know that there can be issues. That's just the nature of doing things live. 100%. And so you have to work around those. I mean, but when you have something like that, I felt like if they could get the technical aspects of it down, then it could be really, really good. Because I mean, just look at CNN. They do stuff like that all the time with people who are remote and who are, you know, having these conversations, and they get really, really heated. So I thought if they can find a way to really edit this the right way, that it can be really, really amazing. And to be quite honest with you, from the trailers that I've seen, it looks like, I mean, it's crazy. And so I'm expecting a lot of fireworks. I am expecting a lot of tea to be spilled, some things we didn't know going into the season and as we watch through the season. And I'm expecting some friendships to be ended.
I agree. So we had a chat yesterday with Candace from the Potomac Housewives, and
he was the first person from Potomac that I ever interviewed.
Really? Same here. Same here. Yeah. So we had a chat with her yesterday, and she's saying season 5 is better than season 3 and 4, which, you know, it's really, really exciting to hear about that. What are your expectations about that?
Well, it's interesting because I feel really close to, not really, I don't want to say close because I have such personal relationships with, you know, these ladies, but I do have somewhat of some interesting relationships with some of the ladies, you know, I'll say that. Whereas I could reach out to them and get a quote or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting a lot of fireworks. Mm-hmm. It's difficult because I really like Candace, you know, just from interviewing her. But I also really like Monique from meeting her, right? You know, so sitting down with Monique and, you know, just being able to get to know her and seeing her personality and knowing kind of how giving she is, and then rooting for Candace all this time because, again, first one that I interviewed, you know what I mean? So you have that memory. I'm actually going into the season with a little bit of trepidation because I feel like I hate to see this friendship torn apart like this.
Yes. Right, I understand. I love all of the women. I love all of the shows, but I feel so near and dear to the Real Housewives of Potomac because it's like ours. It's like
yes,
You're from here. Yes. It's like those are our divas, honey. And I'm just praying for all of those women and just peace. I know that as friends, you're not going to always look or see or feel the same way, but I know that they are at a rough patch, but I know that the God I serve will come in and put some peace over that. And they may not be right okay now, but in 2021, well, we learned it about 2020, is in this time, you got to let stuff go. And you can't hold stuff in.
Yep.
Because this has taught us about the precious of life, what the importance of life. And I feel like in 2021, those girls will be able to sit down and have tea over tea and have brunch again. And you, me, and Krylios to all be at the table.
Yeah, exactly. and you know, I agree with you, Richie. I so agree with you because we've met quite a few of them and they've all been lovely. So it's the only show that I watch with like everyone's online choosing sides, and I just watch it and don't, because it's like, well, I've met so many of them in real life, and it's like, I kind of like them individually.
And I think that the other thing is too, like, and doing what we all do is that you may run into these people. Mm-hmm. Okay, so so for me, I feel like I walk a thin line sometimes with, how I present news and information. And I just had a situation just recently where you kind of have to use I feel like in order to do this, I have to be a very spiritual person, because I have to listen to my instincts and my discernment when I'm delivering news content. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting.
I agree. But speaking,
you know what? I've just noticed all the years I've known you and ever sit down, I've always had sit-down conversations and been in your space. But darling, your eyes are so piercing.
Oh,
and I think it's the light that
is that good light, honey. It's that good light hidden.
That natural light is slaying, honey, for you. And it's just like, even though we've seen a lot more of you recently. And all I can say is, ooh la la. I was here for it. But I just noticed how beautiful.
Where is my fan, honey? It is heating up.
Oh, shit. I tell you, I was there when I found that you was going to be on that show. I was like this.
Yeah, I was like that too, honestly. Y'all want me to do what?
Boy, yes.
How did you get in that headspace? How did you prepare yourself for that?
So I really didn't know that was going to occur. Well, I auditioned, I think, in April of that year, and then they contacted me in October. After the audition, I really didn't think anything of it. I can't even remember how they found me. But from that point, I had about 3 weeks to really get acclimated to the idea that I would be doing this, and really about a week and a half to process the fact that I would be naked. So I didn't really know that long ahead of time. But to be honest with you, the day it happened, we had been filming for so long. And because that was my first experience filming, and because there were so many people in my space, I really didn't care anymore. I was just kind of like, this is the end of the day. Great. Okay, let's just do it and get it over with. And I didn't know how I would feel that day going into that moment. But honestly, the only thing I kept thinking in my mind once I took off my clothes was, do I look fat? No, that was it. Like,
it was.
All right. So tell me, as someone who has worked in reality TV and someone who does reporting on reality TV and entertainment and news, have you ever seen yourself? Do you see yourself in the future? Who knows? Producing one, being because the behind the scenes, how it works. Have you ever thought about getting into the business in a way like that?
So, yes. I think because I feel like I understand the genre a lot, I would want to work more on the executive producing side, determining direction and stuff like that. Having experienced what it's like to be the subject of a reality show, I understand the amount of work that goes into putting it together for the team that's on the ground doing it. Mm-hmm. So you have the producers, the sound people, the cameramen, and because I now have the utmost respect for how long those days are, the fact that when I'm done, they're still going to work. They have big, thick notebooks on every person that they're filming. And that amount of work and dedication, I just don't want to do it. But I would love to work on the sort of higher level production side to determine, you know, who's on, what storylines we're going to feature. I would like that aspect of it.
Yeah, that actually sounds really great. And it sounds like something you would really, really excel in. So speaking of the future, tell us, you know, we know this year is a bit of a rough year, a bit. But as you look toward the future, you know, what do you see for yourself? What do you imagine, like, at the end of this, you know, what will be happening, what the hope is?
So for me, it's interesting. I never feel like I know my destination. I just kind of know the direction that I'm walking in. Mm-hmm. And so I just always hope and pray that I'm taking the right steps to get to wherever it is that God wants me to go. And to that end, I just do what feels good and what feels right for me. And if it doesn't feel right, I don't do it again. So I guess the thing that I would say that I see for myself is just to continue to do what I'm doing. I like the idea of being on YouTube at this point because it allows me to be free to do what I want to do, and it allows me the financial freedom to do what I want to do. But the way I conduct my show on YouTube is the way that I would do it if I was producing a segment for a television show or a news show on a network television. So with that being said, I always want people to see me as someone that they can pull in when they want to, or I can walk into a news show and do an entertainment segment and then walk right out, because I want to own me and my content, and I don't want to be boxed into anybody's, you know, news or network show for a long period of time and have so many stipulations that I'm no longer happy.
Yes.
So that's just the direction that I'm headed in. I mean, it's to continue to do this, to continue to do more interviews and continue to talk to more people, because I honestly feel like right now is probably the best time to have these types of conversations.
100. I'm right there with you. Well, you know, Richie, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a good old-fashioned Kiki. I love it. Rayceen, take us out.
Oh, I love it. And for those who are watching, how can people follow you? Give us all your, you know, I'm the queen of the shameless plug. I believe in plugging everything.
You guys can follow me on everything: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It's all at DJ Richie Skye. My website is www.richieskye.com.
How about that? And most of all, once again, thank you all, and thank you, viewers, for watching.
Shoot me, do me, shoot me, do me, there's a